shit got them going to the top.
Followers in 2 months. And that's just not the reality of most business owners. Most business owners, have had time and time again fails and learn from their fails to help them to where they're at now. Not everything happened in 2 months and oh my God, learned how I made 6K, right? So I'm Ariane Garvin. I am the CEO of New Age Marketing. I created New Age Marketing last year. I've always known I wanted to go into marketing, and I actually thought I wanted to go into marketing, like for corporate, right? I always wanted to be a part of the corporate world. I thought it was so cool. COVID happened. Um, Wanting to go corporate, right? COVID happened, and everybody had to change the course of whatever you thought you were doing. I interned for social media marketing. Can everyone hear me? Okay, put in the comments if you can actually hear my sound. I'm saying it's going in and out. Someone please help me out with the sound. Okay, thank you. Yes, so I decided to open social media marketing because I had a love for social media and I already had a love for marketing. I interned with this wonderful firm here in Atlanta and I learned a lot. And I learned so much that I knew I could go out on my own and do it. But I celebrated my 1 year anniversary maybe less than 4 weeks ago. And it has been, I actually didn't celebrate it. I didn't post it on social media. And the main reason why I didn't post it on social media was I was not proud of where I came from, right? I'm seeing all these people saying that they got 100K followers in 3 months, and they're saying they made 6K in 1 month, and I'm really looking at myself like, why did I not do that, right? So this is my story. I am going to let our guest speaker in, Tiffany Green. She's the owner of Tag Artistry Salon down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And she was actually one of my clients, and may I say one of my favorite clients. So Tiffany, get ready. We're going to go ahead and have her join in.
One of the favorite?
One of my favorites.
One of the favorite? That's
You
good.
were Tiffany. So Tiffany is down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And someone introduced me Paula, which is my boyfriend's mom. She introduced me to Tiffany.
We love Paula.
We love Paula. Paula's in here too. Hey, Paula.
Hey, Paula.
And she introduced me to Tiffany. Tiffany let me take the reins. She let me market it. Market her company. Tiffany actually had a hair show release that I actually went up there to see her do. And it was awesome. She had hairstylists from everywhere else come in and do their thing. So further ado, Tiffany, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. I love Ariane. Yes, that was a great introduction. Yeah, I'm Tiffany Green I'm from Philly originally, but I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've been in the hair industry for like a little over, like maybe 25 years. A couple more years added to that. I know that's a long time. But I love it. I love it because it's forever changing. I love it because it keeps me fresh. I love it because I love people, honestly. For me, the ultimate joy that the beauty industry does for me is it brings my heart joy because I really truly like all kind of people. I learn from them consistently. Just a background on myself. I knew I wanted to be a stylist straight from high school. I had went to Veda Concept hair school in Philly called Jean Madeline. It was a highly prestigious hair school at that time. And, built a nice clientele. I worked for some corporate salons. I worked in booth rental salons. So I always was like, I worked in the hood salons and I worked in the city salons. So I don't care who comes to me. I can service you. I can meet you where you're at. I pride myself on that because I really pride myself on, just really loving people for who they are and what they bring to the table. What brought me south was, I had a huge client base, had like 2 or 3 shampoo assistants. Hi, I just want to say hi to some of my people on here. Hi, people. Hi, people. Listen, this is the young lady that I was telling y'all about who's like, I have a story for y'all. Okay, I know this is live, it's about me, but I have an amazing aha moment about myself working with you. But I'll get to that.
Okay.
All right. So, I built an amazing client base. Really, really had a strong client base in Philly. Like 2 or 3 shampoo assistants. No children at the time. And then the journey brought me south to get my teacher's license, and I went to Paul Mitchell Academy and found that I was knocked up. I was like, what?
In hair school.
Literally the second day I moved to Charlotte, I was like, I'm not feeling right. I was hyped. I was like thinking maybe it was the excitement of moving to a new state. Girl, wasn't that? Found that I was pregnant, right? And, kind of kept it hush hush because I wanted to really execute my teacher's program. I didn't want it to hinder me. But make a long story short, knocked it out, had my son, which led me to, it was a tough time because I had no family here. I had nobody to kind of work on. I had to build my client base from scratch again.
Which is very scary.
Which is very scary, but for me at that time was very exciting because, like I said, I was kind of tired of the energy that I was connecting with. Not tired of it. I had evolved. I would say that I evolved from the energy that I was working with in Philly. And when I came to Charlotte, it was new. It was one of the most highest numbers in people migrating to this area. So it was very exciting for me. It was very new. It was very fun. It was challenging, especially with a newborn. That was 15 years ago. Wow. Yeah, 15 years ago. And that's how I remember how long I've been in Charlotte, because I literally found I was pregnant literally within that first week of moving here. And fast forward, I had a salon with, I worked with some of the amazing artists here in Charlotte. I worked with Darius Crawford. I also worked for, at that time, it was a salon called Image, which was like a huge corporate salon. Hi, everybody joining. And, built my clientele on the north side of Charlotte and on the east side of Charlotte, which is truly me. It's like,
you everywhere.
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
your
just
personality.
Yes, that's my personality.
It's like Tiffany's personality is everyone's personality.
Yeah, it's like I really like all kinds of people. So I worked in a corporate salon, and then I worked in, an independent salon, and it fed my soul. I was able to open up a large salon with a guy named Eddie Shaw, who's like an amazing dope artist. We had that salon for about 4 years, which led me to where I'm at now. I have a more intimate space. I also have been working with L'Oreal for about 10 years now as an educator. I decided not to teach in a school setting. And I've traveled around the world. I really, really love sharing. I think like that's my true passion. And recently I had a late in life baby. So I have a 10-month-old as well.
And he's so cute.
Oh my God, I just love him. I just eat him whole. I just eat that little boy whole. I mean, it was one of those moments like, oops, I did it again. Felt like Britney Spears. But that's who I am in a nutshell. Long story short.
Look, that's Tiffany. And honestly, Tiffany, I'm so happy that you shared your story and you took us through all of your trials and tribulations, because this is why I chose Tiffany to be our first guest speaker. She's been in hair for 25 years, right? You have 25 years of knowledge, not even on hair, but life and business and working with people. And that is what being a business owner is, right?
Yes.
So you doing this, like, you've been the illest in the game for a minute. Like 25 years is like, yeah. And I'm so like, and I always looked at, I was like, wow, she's been working here. So what made you actually say, you know what, working with hair salons were cool. Working with L'Oreal Mazzani, it was awesome. But I'm gonna open Tag Artistry Salon.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Tag came about when I closed down the first salon I had, which was with the partnership. To be 100% honest, I love partnerships. I do. I feel like they make me feel warm and fluffy. It makes me have to do not all the work. You know, you can kind of be able to know your role and kind of concentrate in it. But then life throws you curveballs and says, listen, you have to do certain things on your own. So when my first salon, which was called Abstract Beauty, closed. It closed to something called Eminent Domain. So Charlotte was restructuring things, and they literally closed us down and bought us out. So it left me on my own, right? And, you know, I went into other salons and was working for them. And I just think that I'm a natural leader. And that does not sit well with all leaders. You know, I think you have to be a very strong energy to work with strong energy, you know?
Yes.
And it's not a negative thing. I had to learn it along my years and in my journey. And I had to learn how to not try to overcompensate for who I was. And I'm just getting to that space now where it's like, no, I'm a boss, I'm a leader, but I do it in love. You know, I'm not a malicious person. There's not a salon that I work for that I think that owner would have anything ill to say about me. But they will say that I don't play no, I'm very much 1 + 1 = 2. I move in integrity. You know, my word is my bond. And what I find is that is not a large percentage of humans, you know, and it's not
how they receive information. They don't work
exactly. And then what may be the way you move may not be the way another person moves. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. They just move different, you know. Like I always believed in giving a 2-week notice. Some artists don't. Some artists just bounce. You know what I'm saying? Like we know this in the industry to be true. But that's just never the way I worked. I think that has really kept me in the game as long as I have been in the industry. And that even boils down to my clients. Like, if I can't make it in, which there's far few and in between, I'm always there. Even if I'm a little, I make it do what it do because that's how we program. I'm honest. I'm honest. And I find that level of integrity is almost like a lost thing, you know.
So your motivation was actually being able to be heard and received in your own manner, right? So I'm hearing maybe when working with people, it was kind of like you felt like you couldn't say this, or you felt like you had to overcompensate, and that's not, and you know, and adjust yourself a lot. Yeah, and that's honestly workplaces, right? Workplaces, you have to learn the workplace flow, and you have to see where you fit in. Absolutely. I totally agree with you because I'm a large personality. A lot of people meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're super, like, you know, bubbly and hey."
And you're direct.
And I'm direct. And like you said, it's not what everybody receives. And so that is definitely, I think that's like the main reason. I think COVID actually allowed people to see that. Like, I think you having your shop closed allowed you to see that. But COVID closing everything, a lot of business owners were like, wait a minute. I would rather do this on my own, and I don't have to deal with any of this, right? Yeah. So you've been a business owner for how many years?
So the first salon so a business owner having an establishment, I would say together, maybe about 13 years.
13 years. Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe about 13 years, yeah.
Has it been the same Tag Artistry Salon?
No, so my first one was the Abstract. So that was a partnership. And then I've had Tags for about 7 years now.
Okay. So partnership, and then you just moved solo entrepreneurship. Yeah. So walk me through the solo entrepreneurship. So walk me through, if you can, like the first year. I just want to hear like the first year in a nutshell.
The first year was interesting. It was one of those situations where we just talked about kind of happened. And the owner of the salon I was working for was like, let me give you your 2 weeks. Like, long story short, like, you know, it was on some shady stuff. And it was like one of those things that it was for me divine, because it was time for me to go anyway. And if I'm gonna be honest about my energy, I think having your own business, if you don't do anything when you have your own business, you learn the power of self, right? I think
Yes.
self is huge in being an independent proprietor or creating your
You need to
own.
be your own battery pack.
You have to be your own battery pack. You have to be your own awareness. Like I know what makes me catapult to the next level, and it's not what it does for them. Like some people are just self-motivated. Sometimes for me, I have to have fire up under my ass, excuse my language, in order for me to go to the next level. And you learn that about yourself when you are a business owner. So the lady kind of gave me the boot, gave me a 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, all right, is this what we doing? We being shady like this? So honestly, where my ego was bruised, when my ego is bruised, it makes me dig deep and want to be the better person. That's not good. I'm a Capricorn. Yeah, I'm a Capricorn. So my pettiness is like, okay. I'm like Michelle Obama. She's a Capricorn. When they fly high, when they fly low, I fly high. So it was like that kind of thing. So what I did was I opened up a salon across the street from her 2 weeks later.
Okay, not open the salon across the street.
2 weeks later. I was like, okay, B.I.
Okay.
I didn't get upset about it. I was
Thank you,
salty.
Paula.
I was brewing. I was brewing on the inside. But it catapulted me to come out of my comfort zone. And it was so cute. It was so good. You know, it wasn't like it was no malicious thing going on, but it was one of those things like, you know what? Okay. This is your establishment, because what I do respect about business, I respect it. If you in it, you have to respect it. And a lot of us don't respect it, right? So if I come into, so for instance, let's go into your story. This is a good segue into my story with you. The one thing that made me really, I think for me, when I work with a person, I have to respect them first, right? I instantly respect you when you kind of like check me in your own cute little way. I was like, okay. Don't clutch your pearls now. You don't clutch your pearls. I live for it. Listen, I tell the story to my clients, and they be cracking up. I told Ariana would get you right, honey.
All right. Tell them what did I do?
So I am a Gen X. I always go because I'm an educator, so I get it all into the details of it all and make this long story short. So Paula connected us together. So I think our first conversation, you are very much so boom, 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 boom. This is what I can provide for you. This is what I can provide for you. Pretty much, you lay it on the line. Clear as day, right? So for me and my generation, and a lot of us, people on this live who are from the Gen X or who are maybe 38 and up can relate to this. When we do a business deal, we want to be romanced. We want to have 5 dates. I want to talk about this business plan 8 goddamn times. I was like, no ma'am. You was like, this is what I do. This is what I can guarantee, and this is what I see I can get you there. Are you ready? And it was like, I don't know yet. We haven't gone on a second date. It was like you slid in my DM and you was like, what's up? You know, I'm old school. I'm used to 8 days before I break bread. You was like, no, I'm going to slide in a DM. What's up? And I was like, I got to respect it. And I needed that. And I want to thank you for that, because oftentimes what I would say about the business owners sometimes in our generation, what keeps us stuck in mud is we overthink. With your generation, the millennials, what I love about y'all is y'all make moves. And what you did was you pushed me out of that comfort zone of let's talk about it. Because sometimes we can talk about it for weeks.
And you're not going to do anything with that information that we just talked about for weeks.
Yes. And you was like,
what were we talking?
You was like, what's up? and it was like, I tell my clients, and they was peeing on themselves. I was like, girl, I love her. I was like, and then there's times where I would ask a lot of questions, which a lot of people would just get offended by it. You was like, no, that's not accurate. X, Y, and Z. So it really, really taught me to respect a different way of doing things. You understand what I'm saying? I appreciated that. It allowed me to grow. And I feel like going forward, that's a learn for me. Like sometimes it's not about the conversation. It's not about the detail. You just got to do it.
So going into that is a way, and this is like a really good tip that I feel like, and it doesn't work for everybody, But what definitely works for me in owning a social media management business is I can talk to 13 people for 4 weeks and none of them pay me, right? They've been talking, they've been telling, they've been playing defense. They're like, I don't know. Well, I talked to this person. Well, I don't know. I talked to this person. And I am that person that's like, look, if you called me, I'm going to tell you exactly what I can give you. And I can guarantee you what I just said, right?
Yep.
And I can probably guarantee more, but I won't just for
Yeah.
legal reasons, right?
Yeah.
What I guarantee is going to be a guarantee.
Right.
And I do, as a business owner, as being a young business owner, I do hear, like from people I do ask family and friends, like, hey, hear me talk and give me some pointers, right? I think that's very important, is to ask people for pointers and be open. And I've heard like, Ari, you can be softer, you can round those edges out, and I can hear that. But I get real rigid because I'm like, did I just talk to this person for 4 weeks and no one paid me? And so it is a thing that I feel like there's a responsibility on a business owner and a customer standpoint. Me as a customer in real life, I vet everybody before I just use them. I looked at all of your reviews. I looked at all of your pictures. I looked at all of your whole portfolio. I studied you. Right. So when I reached out to you, it was more a reach out just to make sure you were professional and to make sure that I heard a trusting voice, but I knew I was going to book you. Right. And I feel like that customers and clients, even sometimes I'm a customer, people forget that. They're like, pitch me, get me to come to you. I'm like, you need me as much as I need you. Right? That part. Like, if your client came and was like, Tiffany, you need me to pay your bill. Well, you need me to do your hair. It's like, it's a give. So I did adapt that into my business. And I think it's a nice, respectful way of basically telling people, like, look, if you're not ready to pay, it's cool. But, just come back. I gave you all the information I have. I sent you my portfolio. I told you what I could do. I told you my prices.
You were very professional. You were very listen, it was very, honestly, because for me, I am, in my head, I am very I'm personable, but I'm very, I don't like nobody playing with my time, so I don't like playing with other people's time. If I can do it, I say I'm going to do it. If I can't, you can notice in our business relationship, I don't do it. Because I got a lot on my plate, and I'm a one-woman show. I don't have a lot of family here. I got trust issues. I don't have a lot of people running my business, therapy. But, for me, that was a moment of, piss or get off the pot, as we say back at home in Philly, piss or get off the pot. And that was a big win for me. And even going for it was also a big win for me, because what I relied on your energy for was for me to get through the hair show in that short period of time. I relied on your vibe, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew that it was like, for me, I'm an energy person. So if I'm around you and you like road runner, let's hit it, I'm going to keep up.
Right. You're like, okay.
All right, let's do this. If you say this is your task, then, and that's what I'm saying. When you own a business, that's the self-awareness. You got to know what is the thing that's going to catapult you to the next level. And what I challenge younger artists or younger business people is to not look at everybody else for inspiration all the time. My inspiration was your energy. I fed off of it. But I am very, very strong on self, because at the beginning and the end of the day, you're the one who has to do the work.
And I want to get into that. So because this goes into self-motivation, right? Yeah. And it wasn't hard for me to learn this. I like to say I've had good parents. I've had parents from different walks of life. So my dad is very logistical, right? He's like, he's in the military, right?
Okay.
So that's where I get my, do it. My mom is very spiritual,
Yeah.
And it's not even God, it's like meditate, all of that. And when I was a kid, the funniest thing, just for you guys to learn me, I used to be like, Mom, what are you doing? Why are you staging the house and meditating? Yes. What are you doing?
Right.
But in essence, now that I'm older, when I moved out of her house, I actually adapted that. I started doing it. So all of a sudden, when I struggle with high anxiety or overthinking, and then it will lead into anxiety. So when I catch myself, what's really important that I have to self-observe for myself was I realized, Aaron, catch yourself when you're overthinking, right? And then slow down those thoughts and find the thoughts that are actually real And the ones that are really, if you want to say the devil or whoever you think threw those thoughts into your head and said, no, you're going to fail. You know, basically, that's all the thoughts is basically, no, you're going to fail, and push those to the side. Because I'm never in life going to think I'm going to fail, right? So those thoughts are unnecessary. But I want to hear from you of, like, how did you learn how to self-motivate yourself? And what do you do to self-motivate yourself, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me repeat the question so I can make sure I got the question correctly. You want to know what is the ground for me to move forward? When in doubt, maybe, or just period?
Well, when in doubt, when feeling down, when saying, like, you know what, I'm kind of over it, you know? I don't want to go into, you know, I don't want to go into work. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm sure you know, am I even supposed to do hair? Or am I even supposed to be having my own salon? And how do you first, you know, you're thinking that, and how do you tell yourself, wait, stop?
That's a good question. That's such a good question. I love that question. So that's a really good question. And you know what? I don't think that the answer that I'm probably gonna give you is like what people would think. It may not be politically correct, but it's my truth. My childhood, honestly, you know, I think that my childhood was the beginning of how to move forward. Because oftentimes, you know, I didn't grow up in, I wouldn't say bad parenting. I think I don't look at things as bad. I look at things as opportunity, right? And I think that's why I have been in business for so long, because every situation for me is an opportunity.
Okay.
Every situation that is given to me, I do not take it for granted. And everything that has been granted or gifted to me, I don't take for granted. I really move with integrity, and I move in love. Like, I really, really do. Those are my strong principles. So
integrity, love, and opportunity. I love it.
Yeah, love, opportunity, and just being very much so just grounded in who I am and where I came from. I came from Philly, and you know, the way I raised was a lot different from the way I'm raising my children, or even a lot different from even when I moved down south. I was like, oh, y'all didn't experience that? You know, when you grow up in struggle, or when you grow up in, you know, I wouldn't say we were poverty. I think we were working class poor growing up, you know, and it allowed me to be very resourceful. So, you know, there's times when I'm working for L'Oreal Mazzani, like, it's like my strength and it's my Achilles heel. Like, they can give me a gig in old Iowa with just the address with hardly no instructions, and I'll make it.
You'll make it golden.
I'll kill it. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it's an opportunity. You know, it's an opportunity, and I didn't come from a lot of opportunities, so it is my obligation to create more opportunities for myself and for my family. So I think that's what keeps me going. I think those, you know, just where I came from, and I think as I am maturing and really recognizing my greatness and really, really tapping into, you know, the God-given right to be amazing, I realize that I don't have to always move from the word struggle, because a lot of times you cut your nose off with that. I can move from greatness. I can move from I deserve this. I deserve to be in a room. I belong here. I deserve this whatever excess amount, because I think as business owners, we have to be conscious of that as well. Our whys, you know, because I was coming from a struggle bus place. You know, I was over grateful. Not that I'm over grateful, but, you know, sometimes I was minimizing what I brought to the table because I was just so happy to be sitting at the table. You understand what I'm saying? And that's and what I learned is people treat you how you treat yourself. Yeah. So when you're sitting at the table and you don't even think you deserve to be at the table, they're gonna treat you like you don't deserve.
They're gonna treat you like, why are you even here?
Yeah. So
and it is a full even on the confidence thing. It's remembering that, wait a minute, if I'm even at the table, I more than deserve to be at the table.
That part.
So that's just the full, you know, that's just the full thing.
Yeah. Okay. The Muscle Whisperer said abundance, and Gigi said big facts. Thank y'all for being on here, because I mean, we know Like, these are conversations that I feel like a lot of us are scared to be honest and transparent about. Like, you know, I you know, a lot of my peers won't say that they came from that place of struggle, you know, because now we're in a generation and a culture where everything is access. You know, I grew up listening to music where, you know, you had 5 people in the bed, 2 peed on you, you know, you ain't had no bread. Like, that was the music that I came from, you know, like, it was that struggle music. It was that. So a lot of times, a part of my inspiration, I'll put that on. Like, how I decided to come up with the hair show, I was listening to Follow the Leader by Eric B. and Rakim. I know that's old, but it inspired me because it was at a place where where people didn't have, and it gave them, and if they was in a space where they didn't have, what gave them the courage to move forward? I a lot of times tap into that. I can't always relate to, I mean, and for me, what it does is it makes it raw, it makes it authentic, you know, and I think I will always have a space in this industry because I don't ever duplicate. I am very unique, and I come from a very honest space, you know, and I think that's something that I would challenge us to be, because I feel like everything is syndicated in our business. Got this, you know, me and you had this conversation. Like, you was like, Tiffany, you got to do some of these trends. And I'm like, okay, I'll do them. Because I know you got to do certain things that's necessary. But what was important to me was remaining authentic. And when I remain authentic, I feel like my tribe comes to me when I'm being myself. Yeah. But if I'm following everybody else, then my tribe can get lost. And what that spills on, because it spills on into the business. When I was doing that, I would have young women or young men who would come into my salon. They weren't my clients.
They weren't, okay. They weren't.
You understand what They weren't my clients, because I was not being my authentic self. I was following the blueprint that everybody else was doing. So it was messing up my money, because my clients are my tribe, because I am being my authentic self. So when women are coming into my space, they see what I put out. They want honesty. They want to connect on a deeper level. They want to understand their hair from a very, very, very holistic standpoint. That's who I am. So
let's get into that one through social media, though.
Yes.
So social media is obviously a pillar in your business, right?
Yes.
You get your clients without it, but you can actually accept clients with it, right?
The best clients. Yes.
But so it's to even go deeper into social media. Social media is a gateway that we business owners were ultimately blessed with to reach people you in essence could have never even reached or never even met, right?
Yes.
So that's just social media in a nutshell. But the 2 reasons. I'm in social media, right? So of course I'm a person that's gonna tell you I love it. But the reason why we have Let's Talk About It Live right now is because social media has negativity. So I want to be fully transparent. I like what you said with when you were following the trends, you got clients, but they weren't your clients, right?
Yes.
That's very important. So I think a lot of accounts do the same thing, right? And it follows in through my same marketing tactic. You're gonna hear this a lot. The 6K, learn how I made 6K in 3 months or whatever, 6 figures in 3 months, right? If you go find people that are like a business mogul, have hundreds of thousands of followers, that's everything that they say. They say it's like, oh, I did it in 3 months, 6 months, and it sounds super unrealistic. Right. It's like, no, but you've really been in the game for like 8 years, right?
Yeah.
But with you, what I enjoyed was you were doing the trends, you were interacting with social media. You, in essence, were probably taking tips and advice. Oh, do the trend. Oh, do this. This is the trend. Do this, right? It was gaining you audience, was gaining you followers, but it was actually hurting you. So I do want you to speak on that, or you actually did, but speak on it a little bit more on how you altered your uniqueness to still match the trends, right?
Yes, yeah, that's a good question. I think the trends is dope. Honestly, I'm not anti-trend. I'm not anti-new. I am not anti-trend. I don't want to convey that message. But what I am is find yourself in it. Right? So I think to answer your question, like, finding your, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I feel like what I had to do, because I feel like I remember when you and I connected, I really wasn't 100% clear on I wanted numbers. Because I knew numbers is what would get me the notoriety and the respect in my head, right? This is what I was telling myself. And to a degree, it has relevance to it, right? But then I feel like after I had my son and after some time went, I really started to like ground myself in it. Like, realistically, what do I want from social media? And I think as business owners, we have to streamline what we want versus what everybody else got. Right? Because I think what happens is we get so caught up on what everyone else has in social media, and we feel like that's the gold mine, that's the pie. The reality for me is the mission is not necessarily, if I can get all of those followers, why not, right? But if I don't have all of those followers, how do I maximize and gain and still get numbers behind the chair? Because don't sleep on the low numbers. People still get money.
And it's still good content.
And it's still good.
It's still good. It's still there. And it's very hard to find your voice in it.
Yes.
Also, when you're seeing all of these trends, and it's like, okay, this is how you do the trend. It is very hard to say, but this is my voice.
Yes.
And let's hear it together.
Exactly. And not only that, I do believe that I go back to that word self, because the reality of my life right now is, if I had 50 million followers, right? Am I, Tiffany, is Tiffany in a realistic space to be able to take on all of that business that brings? No. I don't have a strong team to solidify it. That's like one-on-one in business. Be prepared for the business.
Level up.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so many people fail because they think they want the level up, but they can't support it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a reality for me too. I'm raising a teenager, you know, which is my priority, and I have a newborn, and I have a husband, right? So, you know, for me, you know, like I said, it goes back to that word me. What's important is to be able to reach my tribe, service them with love and integrity, right? And make sure I can do what I want to do, because I can take a trip when I want, you know, I can buy what I want, my credit score real cute, like whatever it is that you want. I think social media can give it to you, but I think what we have to do is we have to be realistic about what we can handle, right? Because sometimes you're not even emotionally equipped to deal with social media, because all those likes come with a whole lot of other stuff too, right?
Yeah, it comes with trolls, comes with negativity.
Yeah, and a lot of
people, that's a good gem just to have, period, for any business owner, is to always be, if you want the 100,000 followers, if you want the booked out years, right? There's people that's booked out for a year. You have to be ready to invest. Yes. And it's build a team, but building a team is investing. You have to invest in your brand. You have to invest in your website. You have to invest in social media to stay trend, right? You have to invest in an assistant. You have to invest, and you have to invest your time to train these people, and then to be patient with these people, right? You can't hire someone to say they're not getting it after a month. It's like, give me a minute.
And it's a machine. It's a straight up machine.
And I've seen, because I've actually worked with plenty of businesses, and most of my clientele at the moment is, and I'm gonna say this word, but I'm not with this word, small business owners, right? I hate the word small business owner. We are not small. I don't know why small business owner is supposed to be like a thing, but if you're in a business, you have an LLC, you're a business owner, right? So being a business owner, most of the business owners I have, right, they are about to make it to that next level, about to make it to stop to the point that they're not worrying about money. They're just saying, well, how can I upgrade my business, right? Looks cool now, but how can I make it look cooler? How can I open another store or something like that? And I've actually seen a lot of businesses reach that golden point that's like, oh my God, I'm almost there, and they fell.
Why you think they fell?
And so I'm like, no shade, no tea if they're in here, but I work with a lot of people that have teams, right? They have teams, and I'm a part of that team. I'm just the social media part, and it's the communication. and it's the mental headspace that's within the actual business. I've worked with people that I can log into a meeting and everybody just seems like, okay, they don't seem energized. They don't seem like this is what I really want to do. They don't even seem happy.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
and sometimes the business owner themselves don't seem happy. I'm like, do you even want to do this?
Yeah.
And they enlist in my help and they ask me for social media help. And I always ask people, what's your real goal? I can tell you, if your goal is numbers, I'll get you numbers. Or is your goal to change the way you create content? I will help you change the way you create content. And people will tell me their goal and do no work for it.
Yeah.
Right? Business owners feel like when they hire a team, you let your team do it and I'm out.
Yeah.
And I've seen that a lot. I've seen them do it with me. Now I'm a self-doer. I've learned that's a strength I have. If you just give me a pot, I'll learn how to make some macaroni. But not people are like that. So it is a thing that I want everyone to work on. Like, I read books. My thing is books. If yours not, like YouTube videos. I know my dad watches like so many YouTube videos. People have podcasts. Is really like teach yourself. Do self-teaching, right?
Yeah.
So download podcasts about someone that's been a CEO and them giving you tips. Tune into this conversation right now and it's business owners saying, I failed and I did this and that's what set me back a year or something, and learn from people. Read a book. And it's not even read business books. It's sometimes how to be a better you. Right?
Yeah,
I've met people that just seem like they're not a good person.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you didn't pay me, I wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not a good thing, right?
Right.
It's like,
Right.
even if I have clients, you're my client, you didn't renew. I'm like, I want to talk to you.
Yes.
I'm like, no, I want to be on the phone. Like, hey, I don't care if you pay me or not. We're cool. And that's how I enjoy everyone. And I think that's where businesses really thrive, is the love and the energy of, I love my business. So anyone working for my business, I love you too. Let's do it together.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's working on past traumas. It's being in the bathroom or laying in the bed instead of scrolling through reels for 2 hours, right? It's actually just listening to a podcast. I used to get my lashes done. A really good thing I used to do when I got my lashes done was put a podcast in my ear. Yeah. I don't know if you ever got your lashes or your hair done. I'm falling asleep, right? But you're not listening to anything. So while I'm getting my lashes done, my eyes are closed, I can't work. Let me listen to something that might teach me. Right? It might teach you about finances or whatever. And that's just a tip I just wanted to throw out there off of what you said.
Yes, it's true. It's very, very true. I mean, and I guess to your point, like, it goes back to, when you said that you have people who are the quote unquote success stories and how, they burn out quick, like, how can you, some people, I like I said, this last 2 years have really been a rebirth for me mentally, if I'm being honest. I had a lot of stale thinking around a lot of things. Business is a lot. Like, business, this is a good podcast because, I know if, my goals shifted and I wanted to do something different or change the trajectory of what I wanted to make, I have the tools to do it because I'm aware of, to your point, like, just because you have a team, you still have to have some level of involvement. And I mean, and you don't have to like babysit it. I've seen businesses where people have, literally been able to allow it run for itself. I've seen that, but then I've also seen people who walked away from it at a time where it was like, no, she's still your infant. You still got to nurture her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I seen amazing, like, I seen an amazing business fold because, to your point, she was like, it's rolling, it's bringing in money, I can walk away from her. But it really is like a child in a sense. And then for some, now with technology, it doesn't have to be that deep. But I just so happen to be in a deep business. I'm in a business where I am dealing with high touch, meaning, I am tapping into the human experience, right? And I think you have to know your business inside out. If you're in a high tech business, like where you at, the high touch is just a bonus. You understand what I'm saying? And I think, you know, you got to know the difference. High tech, you can be hands off and that person can do what they do and you can make that wheel spin. When you in high touch, in order for it to manifest the way your vision is put on print, you kind of got to be in it a little bit more. You got to have your hands in it.
Yeah.
You know, right now, yeah, you got to have your hands in it. Like, I think, you know, going forward, like for me, you know, my next venture is, you know, buying more properties. So, you know, that is another level and that's going to require a different kind of me. But, you know, and that's going to be a learn, you know. So I enjoy business. I really, really do. One of my prayers is to be able to like open up, like I need some properties under my, you know, just for cushion. And I don't want to be that old head in Walmart doing here. That's not
And
cute.
shout out to the Zen Room. Wait, shout out to a lot of people. Hold on, let's take
Paula.
in 30 seconds. We're gonna go ahead and close out with a transparency moment. Shout out to Paula, Jeremy, which is my father. Hey, Dad. Shout out to the Zen Room. She just booked a 30-minute appointment. Shout out to everyone that has been interacting, that have been in here. Shout out to Nadia. She's like my bestest friend ever, and she's actually gonna be one of my guest speakers. She owns a teeth whitening business.
Yes.
Shout out to everyone from Tiffany, Gigi on hair, my mom, everyone. So
I think my brother just jumped on here. Hey.
Hey. So she said she's at Walmart, but shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for interacting with this first ever live. And this has been awesome. Tiffany, thank you for this.
You're very welcome.
It's been awesome. So I just want to kick it off with the transparency moment. And each of these lives are going to have a theme of I'm going to use your thing, struggle bus moment, right? So we're going to have a struggle bus moment. And I'm going to do one that's super dear to my heart. So I struggle, and I call it Tiffany earlier, I struggle with imposter syndrome. It's probably, and it's not a real like mental diagnosis, but it's a thing business owners develop when there might be new, fresh to the game, and they're doing the thing everyone on the outside can say, oh my God, that person is really accomplishing like so much, right? And they're just constantly doubting themselves.
Yeah.
They're constantly, and it's not something purposeful. It's just constantly looking at the picture and not liking what you painted. And I have my moments that as a business owner, you know, I just hit my 1 year mark, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and I've had my moments that I'm like, oh, I'm doing the thing, you know, this is a great idea. You know, I'll be in bed, I'm popping up, writing down my idea. I'm so excited to do it. And it just, you know, or it doesn't gain the traction, or it doesn't get what I, you know, just nothing came from it, not what I dreamed of, right?
Yeah.
And that would sometimes get me in a funk, right? Yeah. There's only so much self-motivation you can do. There's almost so much meditation, getting my nails done, that I can do until I'm laying in the bed saying, you know what, maybe I should just go and apply for jobs in marketing, right? Maybe they'll teach me something, and in 5 years, when I learned a little bit more, I'll come back to the business world and start it now.
Right.
And what helped me, there's two things that actually truly helped me out of that. A really big reason is my family and my friends. My circle is tight. When I tell you I can probably count on this hand, and these include my family, how many are like I talk to every day, a week, and stuff like that. And they honestly motivate me. The reason why I opened up my business was because of Nadia, she's in here, she owns a teeth whitening business. She owned her business, and she was like, Ariana, why are you not doing this? Get it together, right? My dad, I can call my dad every night and tell him about my business idea, and he's authentically listening and responding, right? It's not that foo-foo not listening to you and saying, oh, yeah, you should do that, you know? And, and he's actually helping me, right? There was people I can call on. There was people I can cry to. There was people I can say, you know what, I just think I'm going to give up, and them looking at me like, why, right? That didn't necessarily get me out of a funk that I had, and it was like just strong imposter syndrome. There was moments I didn't post on Instagram for a month. I'm like, there's just nothing I have to say, right? And they were in my, you know, 5 group people, they really helped me. And that was a tool I used. I lost friends having a business, and I lost them because I became more valuable to myself. Right. And like you said, when I used to get I got seats at tables that I'm like, how am I 19 at this table, right?
Right.
And I'm glad to be here. You know, you're trying to write everything down, and I don't know what you want me to do. And you know, and I was like, and I'm not that person, just like you. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Wait a minute. You know, hold on. And so I became very, like, way more valuable to myself. I know I had valuable information to give people. I knew I had valuable information that my friends, family get for free, right? I'm like, I'm telling these people, this is $1 million idea, take it or leave it. You know, so when I felt like I wasn't getting that back, it was actually hurting my value. You know, like, do you not think I'm valuable? Why are you not listening to me when I'm calling you, right? It was just like a, you know, overthinking, right? So I struggle heavily with imposter syndrome, and I think it was a main factor of what set my business back of where it could be today. I had moments that I didn't do anything with my business. I didn't, you know, I'm an Instagram person. I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't out here hustling my clients, because there's moments you got to hustle your clients, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not out here walking into businesses with my head held high, like, hey, do you need someone for this, that, and the third? I can offer you this, and being confident in what I exactly offer, right? My prices didn't match what I knew how useful I was. I'm charging $200 for something. I'm like, no, it should really be in the thousands. But it's because I don't not want a client. I'm scared or whatever.
Right.
And so that's just a full transparency moment. There's like moments, you know, I'll be in my bed and for 3 days, I'm like, hood on, lights off, don't talk to me, I quit. Right. And it's all the tools that I instilled in myself, you know, meditating, having a circle that I can honestly, truly call on, and they can really get me back to like, all right, well, you know, let that go, right?
Right.
And it was self-improvement, and it was things that I can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m., I'm going to go on a walk and actually clear my head. And those are just the things that help me, right? But with my imposter syndrome, and I want people, and I know people struggle with this. I mean, people have been on my Instagram. I made a post about it today, and they were commenting. And one lady said she read like 7. She always reads leadership development books. That's what motivated her. Was, you know what, I'm just going to learn. And so I wanted to hear from you of if you ever felt like that. And it, most likely it could be now or in the beginning of your business. And honestly, kind of how do you, it's not stop it, but it's live with it. Because in a way, I don't really feel like anxiety and overthinking necessarily goes away. You just learn how to handle it faster than normal, right? So if it takes you a week to pick yourself back up from the ground, now it's only taking you like 24 hours. It's like, oh, pick yourself up really quick. So I just wanted to hear a quick transparency moment from you.
Yeah, I feel honestly like that's human. I feel like oftentimes that we have, and these terms are real, they're real. And I think sometimes they're valuable. I do. Like I said earlier, everything that honestly that has happened in my world, I've always looked at it as an opportunity, right? And that's how they manifested. Like, you know, I don't know. I feel like as a young person, I always had like this deeper aspect of life, you know. And what I used to do is dim it all the time because, don't get me wrong, I'm the fun bus waiting to happen. I pop off, I turn up, but I am very much still, I always go in. And what I do is I check why I'm feeling this way. For me, this is how I get through it. It's like, oh my God, why am I feeling this way? I remember when I used to, you know, have clients but didn't have, you know, working in a large salon will give you that darn energy. Because, you know, you come in, you got 4 people on your books and this person got 10. Yo, that used to mess my head up. Like, and then I start hating. My cuts is better than hers. You know, like you know, you go on these spirals, but I think for me, I am real critical on myself, and it's sometimes a good thing, but I think a lot of it gets in the way and it takes away time, to your point. But I do think that it really has worked not to my detriment, but to my growth. Because when I am critical on myself, it allows me to have honesty. Like, okay, you're here in this space, in this point of your journey for a reason. Like maybe you weren't supposed to have 10 that day. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know,
it just wasn't in the plan.
It's not your time.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can't pick that flower into a bloom. Like you gotta move based. And I'm be 42, so you know I'm coming from a space, and I've been on my own since I've been 16. So I've been paying bills and handling business from a very young age. So I always had to look. I had to rely on myself, and I had to always look to self, which sometimes could be a detriment because, you know, to me the biggest asset in business is team. You know.
Yeah.
But like I told you, I got trust issues. I got to work on that. Once I get that together, then, you know, boom, here we go. It's going to be another level. But I'm okay with where I'm at and the level that I'm going because I'm doing it on my terms. I'm doing it with integrity. And when I have those moments of doubt or those moments of jealousy, because I'm very honest about it. I'll be like, oh, I'm a hater. You know, I'm like, I'll be the first one to say, oh, Tiff, you hating. Like I check myself. And I'll turn around and I'll correct it, you know? So I think that imposter syndrome is how you look at things. It's your perspective. You know, the lens, the glasses you put on. So for me, that syndrome works for my benefit because what it does is it allows me to figure out the root of it. And then I can plant a different seed in my head if I need to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all right, you got to consistently resoil and replant in order to get a new crop. So that's how I look at myself. That's how I constantly evolve. That's how I've been in the business for as long as I have. You know, working with Mazzani, I recently reached out to some of my team members, the new hires, and I wanted to know their way of doing things because I honestly wanted to know, how can I change the way I was doing things? How can I reinvent myself? How can I, because I love what I do, how can I touch the next generation of artistry? Because I can't do it if I can't connect.
Right.
So I got to change some of the music that I can't be listening. When you was like, Tiffany, you can't be putting that old damn music on your IG all the time. Girl, you was checking me the whole time. I was like, okay. You remember that?
Mix it up. Talk
you remember that though?
I do.
I was like, she brain.
I do. I am definitely that person. One good thing about me is I don't know. I guess a millennial. I don't know. 2000. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But I will tell people that's old. Stop. And it wasn't too. You know, I love me some Tupac. You know, you had some good songs, and I'm like, okay. You know, I could get with it, but some of them, it was like, that was 1980.
Girl, and I be hype. So hype.
It was not hype. So bad. We don't want it. But what I heard from you, and I heard so many, I think I'm going to throw out a few adjectives to leave people with, is you are big on opportunity. And taking every opportunity as just as what it is, like a seed, right? That's what I heard from you, and you plant it. You take every opportunity and you plant your seed there, and you're gonna see, and you're gonna wait, and you're gonna be patient. You're gonna see if something's gonna grow from it. If it doesn't, all right, and if it does, cool. And that mindset is honestly something I probably need to adopt. And what I heard from you also, I don't want to lose it. It was actually, I was also reading this book. It's masterminding, right? It's looking at a problem and finding how to connect with others to solve that problem. I think that is very, that's smart. You know, it's critical to know that. I think sometimes people can see a problem and say, I'm gonna figure it out. It's like, why? Just ask them, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just talk to the people around you and, you know, don't hate. Just be like, well, why do you have 10 people on your books? And I'm like, you know, can you help me out, right?
Yes.
Well, why are you getting this and I'm not getting this? And they might not tell you the whole full-fledged, you know, secret sauce, but they're going to give you something you didn't know.
Yeah,
and you're going to implement it and you're going to see the change.
I love that.
And so I honestly loved everything that you said. It was things that I honestly don't do in my everyday life that I'm probably going to do.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you, Tiffany. I wanted to thank you for dedicating an hour to this Let's Talk About It live. It was our very first one, and honestly, it was awesome. Everyone in this live was awesome. It was dope. Everyone that came from Tiffany's account, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Everyone that is just sitting here, I'm just overwhelmed with joy. Our next one is gonna be every Monday at 7 p.m. And our next guest speaker is still in the beauty industry, and she's a lash tech. So we're gonna hear from her. And then again, have a good Monday night? And
yes,
thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye.